live. Yeah, we going live. Hey, we going live. Yeah, we going live. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello, hello, hello.
I am Jarrett, the football genius Burgess.
And I am Stephanie Fitzpatrick, a.k.a. the Advantage Coach.
And this is episode 76 of the Field to the Real podcast.
Yes.
And as you can see, I took my sister's advice, and I no longer look like I'm a part of Al-Qaeda.
They don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry. For the YouTube,
Yeah, they don't. That was us.
for the YouTube
But you
viewers,
can tell them. Go ahead.
you can see it. But for the for you guys who are listening on the various DSPs, I shaved at least a little bit of the hair off my face.
It's a lot of hair off your face.
Crazy because it just grows back so quickly.
Oh, that's what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you probably can't see it. So I did it on Saturday last week, right?
Uh-huh.
And like now I can fit, like the hair is already starting to grow back out a little bit, and I can feel it up against my finger. And I'm like, why my hair grow so fast?
Listen, I feel you. I don't have the same issue.
Well, hope not.
with a beard.
What's this beard you're growing?
I got a beard.
Oh man.
But I understand my eyebrows. I have to do them every week.
Like yeah.
Because otherwise, I'm gonna look like somebody with the. Yeah.
I was about to make a joke, but I think it would be highly inappropriate.
Okay. Oh, don't talk about Cheeto. Is that what you're about to say?
He one of them.
Yes, Lord.
Oh no! If it was just about him, I would have shot that joke off.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
All right. So what we've seen now is that football, despite what we've seen about the virus, football, because of the amount of money that it makes, is inevitably coming back. Right.
NFL starts when? Next week?
NFL starts next week.
Yeah.
College football
started already.
Some college football started already.
Yeah.
Some of the bigger conferences are going to start at the end of September.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that the Big Ten and now the Pac-12, because honestly, they're kind of married. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're going to start before January 1. They haven't given an exact start date, but they're going to start before January 1. And so what it seems like is that the NCAA just makes too much money for anyone to cancel or postpone for a long amount of time, which this should be an eye-opener to some people, but I understand why it's not.
Yeah.
But Brian Shaw, the coach of Stanford, had an interesting take on this.
In the David Shaw? Is it David Shaw?
I said Brian Shaw, didn't I? It's David Shaw.
Okay.
I'm getting it confused with the basketball player, now coach, Brian Shaw. But David Shaw, excuse me, guys, the head coach of Stanford, thinks that any champion that comes from this season should have an asterisk beside it.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the amount of players who, one, are going to decide to sit out because they're first-round players and they don't want to jeopardize their stock. And just the amount of time that was allotted to prepare for the season.
Yeah.
There's just too much. Yeah, COVID. Well, that was due to COVID. But, it's just a lot of uncertainty. And so for that reason, he thinks that this champion, whoever's crowned as champion, they should have an asterisk beside it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a few weeks ago, when someone said the same thing about the NBA, I disagreed.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I don't feel like that champion should have an asterisk beside it.
Mhm.
But with this one, our who's really right is, do we think that the NCAA football champion should have an asterisk beside his name? Or should there even be a championship?
Yeah.
And as always, Stephanie, not even always now.
Not
Sometimes
always.
you
I
volleyball that
throw
thing
it
right back
on
to me.
Yep. I'm going to lob it right back. That's right. Yeah.
What do you think, though?
Okay, so I understand. I'm going to say that first.
Mm-hmm.
The reasoning behind wanting the asterisk there.
Mm-hmm.
However, I feel like, surprisingly enough, if whoever is playing, whatever conferences are playing, whatever kids are playing, they're out there. They're giving their all, they're 100%. They're showing up to practice. They're going to the games. They're doing all of these things. We've already had a conversation about how I feel about this even happening in the first place. Just because I think it's crazy with what's going on and jeopardizing their health. But that's neither here nor there. So putting that aside, the fact that they're going out there and that is the place that they go and they give their all and they're doing it. So the effort is there. So for me, I feel like that is reason enough that no, it should not be an asterisk by the championship, because whoever plays, that's who wins. You know what I mean? It's similar. It's funny you bring up the NBA because it's similar even to this bubble. I brought up when we had the production meeting another instance, but you just brought this up. So this is present day.
Mm-hmm.
They had to pick certain teams to be in the bubble based on whatever the algorithm was. Go ahead.
It was the teams who were within a certain amount of games of making it to the playoffs based on the amount of games that were going to happen in the bubble before the playoffs started.
Okay. So whatever their reasoning was, I just feel like it was, it still didn't look like what was normal for the NBA. And so if we don't put an asterisk by this, then I don't think we put one by the college football championship as well, because the people who are there are participating actively, and those kids deserve. I mean, what else do you play for? If you don't play for a championship, what are you playing for? I mean, everybody, I don't care what conference you're in, I don't care what level, D1, D2, you're playing for ultimately to be able to have a record that will allow you to play at a level that would get you to a championship.
Okay.
And college football is such now that I don't know, like, I don't know that you can say there are certain teams that consistently dominate and stay at the top in the rankings, but even that you could be that one team this year that, because it's always one or two teams just kind of slides in.
Slide in
It
from
wasn't
nowhere,
expected. So you could be one of those teams. So you gotta give it your all in order to be able to get there. So I don't think it's fair to them to say, well, you get an asterisk by your name, by your championship. No, I don't. We play for it.
Right.
And the people who choose to sit out, whether it's for COVID or because they don't want to hurt themselves, it is what it is. That's the same thing that happened with the NBA. Some people have chosen to just not play.
Right. I think what makes this different than the NBA, specifically the bubble, but also the instance that you brought up, is that the NBA and most professional sports leagues, or all professional sports leagues actually, are unified. There are a lot of fractures with the NCAA because you have Conference A saying we'll do it, Conference B saying no, and it being a lot of uncertainty. With the bubble, it was, this is what's going to happen, this is how we're going to do it. Now, everybody has, even if your players don't, because we can look at players opting out as, well, a player could have gotten injured and they wouldn't have played.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the NCAA, this goes a little bit deeper than this because this also involves players having or being allotted practice time, an uneven level in players having competition. Like I said, players just played like the last couple of weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And some players aren't going to play, or some teams aren't going to play until the end of September. And even still, some teams won't play until October, November, December.
Mm-hmm.
And so with all of this fracture, what we're asking is for a champion to be crowned amongst all of this mess when there's so many splinters in what the NCAA is. And it's funny that you brought up the idea of like some of those smaller teams who aren't always in the conversation. One coming to mind, University of Central Florida, who, you know what I'm saying, with Scott Frost, even though he just went to Nebraska, had popped up on the scene a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think this right here, because of how fractured this thing is, will prevent those types of teams. I think a lot of what happens with those teams is continuity. You get a team who's played together, who's had a coach, who's had them in the building, like really working together and working towards this goal. And now that, you know, because of COVID, you know, a lot of these players did return July 1, but there was so much uncertainty that I don't know if you could build that continuity during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a lot to contend with because the NCAA isn't the true, like we see now, there's no true leadership with the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
Because what should have happened, the NCAA being the governing body of athletics for colleges, their commissioner should have been like Adam Silver.
How can we expect anybody to be like Adam Silver?
We can. It's a tall order.
Yeah.
It's a tough task. But when I say that, as soon as we understood that these numbers were going up, just like Adam Silver called in all of the coaches for the NBA in order to make decisions on how the rest of the season was going to look,
mm-hmm.
Mark Emmert should have called all of the commissioners of these conferences into a room to make a unified plan of what this season would look like. And because that wasn't done, now we're making decisions based off money because we still want to get this revenue from having a championship. Mm-hmm. So the championship isn't about, to me, in my opinion, it's not about the players and it being an actual champion name. Let's just get 2 people in here so we can salvage this money.
Right.
You know, and for the players, I do completely agree with you. There has to be something to play for. So I do understand it, but I also think that the Asters would recognize the fact that this season was splintered, you know. And so while it's not fair to have a team be placed in this championship, you know, and they have an asterisk beside their name, it's also not fair for these teams who weren't given an equal shot at that championship. You know what I mean?
I see it. I get it. So I haven't really delved into this enough to know because like you just said, conferences are going to start at different times. Mm-hmm. I don't even know how you have schedules when everybody's all over the place. Mm-hmm. But has the NCAA said, since we're going to have a championship, we're only going to base it off of a record that starts XYZ, so that whenever everybody starts playing, then we just go with what happens from that point on versus, you know, these teams might have played for a month before another conference even started. And then, you know, you get what I'm saying? If the NCAA really wants to have a championship that won't be marred by some sort of, you know, it to me, taking on what I told you in our production meeting, that kind of San Antonio Spurs when there was the lockout.
You won't mention their name. Don't you get these fans hating you?
With the lockout. But no, there was a lot of conversation around
it
that
was.
during that time. Like, well, is
Mhm.
this a real champion? Like,
Right,
because
yeah.
we didn't even play a full. So
Right.
we've been in this territory before with the NBA, with it kind of being a little crazy. But yeah. So I mean, because if the conversation is happening now with the same thing, then it's the same. You know what I mean? That
Right.
same. Yeah. So I don't know. It for me, you know, my heart's about the kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so just from their perspective, I get it. And we know you love the kids, but you also have a very business-like mind. And so you're always thinking of things in terms of the way that they operate business-wise. And so I know that that's kind of where your perspective on this is more so along those lines of that. And so that's why I see both. I do.
Yeah.
I do. I see both, but for the kids, that's not fair. It's not. I don't care how, and you know they don't care about how long they've had to practice. They just want to play football.
They do. Right.
Period. That's it. They don't care about any of that.
And so to that point, though, that's why I agree with. Okay, let's have a season, right?
Yeah.
Now let's put some parameters in place for this country on when that season starts, as far as numbers declining in certain areas and stuff like that. Let's have a season, but if the people at the top, because it's not just about the kids, if the people at the top are basing their decisions solely off of, I need this to happen so I can line my pockets, like that isn't fair to these kids either. And I know this jumps into a whole different conversation about the NCAA and paying players. And we don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Right.
But, you know, you can see the motivation for some of this stuff. You know, this is the time where you truly see the term student athlete is a joke. Yeah. It's a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and it's
human being is a joke.
Yeah.
Let's just be real. Human being is a joke because you're a commodity.
Right.
You're just seen as a commodity. It's not even about you as a person or your well-being. We've seen it not just at the NCAA. We've seen it in government.
Right.
People are just commodity.
Yeah. It's funny. I got to the end of the series, the game, the other day, and I can't think of it. Michael Beach, I want to say is his name. He was playing. He was the black owner that came in and bought the Sabres.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I can't think of what his name was on the show.
But Michael Beach.
Yeah, he had made in one of the episodes he had made a comment about the players being slaves. Right. And so that took me to I don't know who wrote this book, and forgive me for bringing it up without knowing the author, but the $40 Million Slave. I forgot who wrote that, but it brought me to that, which brought me to the NCAA and this whole situation. And we are using this amateurism word to make ourselves feel better about robbing these young men,
enslaving them,
majority of them black, which I won't get into that, but it's
this a whole nother
it's a whole nother conversation. And like you said, my slant is always like the, you know what I'm saying, and not necessarily just the business aspect of it, but like the social implication of it.
Yeah, the motivation, like where people's mindset is. Why are you doing what you do?
Exactly, and how it affects our people in total. You know what I'm saying? So, like this is a whole transference of wealth. Not even transference, but like a continuing of, you know. But I won't get into that. My who's really right is I think the asterisk should be there, and honestly, I don't even think it should be a champion. I think the conferences may have a championship. Yeah, and that would be done like that.
Smart. Yeah, that would be smart.
Yeah, a national champion, no, because I think that the the conferences are moving like
they're separate
leagues. They're moving independently because there's no governing body or there's no governing body that has proven that it's able to corral this whole thing. And so, I don't think it should be a championship, not a national championship.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, because it was kind of a twofold to the question, and so I mean, I like the idea of conference champions because it still gives the kids. Because my argument is the kids having something to play for, right? So it still gives the kids something to play for, but it doesn't require this whole, like you call it, fractured setting that could it's just gonna be a mess by the end. It's gonna be so much controversy and so many people griping, whining and moaning that they're gonna wish they had said no, honestly.
Right. And it's funny too because our favorite coach, not really, Dabo Swinney was on.
I knew that's who you were talking about. Okay, go ahead. Anyway.
Was on. So I can appreciate him as a coach, but it just seems like every time he gets on TV that he's totally tone deaf.
Yeah, so he doesn't. Yeah.
When he got on ESPN, or maybe it was a press conference that ESPN just had the audio too, or audio and video. He talked about how he wants to play football right now. He doesn't think that a championship should go into February or past that. And if you said something to the effect of, I don't quote me, but if I had my way, we'd be playing right now. And so,
of course,
it's just unfortunate to hear stuff like that when you
you said it already. Why? Listen, these kids are too, though. It's not just him.
Yeah, no, it's not just them. I mean, but attitude reflect leadership.
Yeah. Well, these kids probably influence a lot of the attitude too. They seeing them kids every day.
Yeah.
They see them, and they're hearing from the kids more than we are.
Oh, the coaches, no, definitely, yeah.
So I think it's a reciprocity thing. They're both influencing one another at this point.
Yeah.
And a coach like Dabo Swinney, he has a heart for the kids. We know that.
No, absolutely.
He has a heart for the kids, and so if they're in his ear and they're like, "But we want to be play," we know already. Trevor Lawrence has been real clear; he wants to play. So I'm sure that's the attitude throughout his locker room. So that influences him too to go out in public and say things like, "We just want to be." I just want to play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because his kids, that's what he's hearing.
Yeah.
We just want to play. Like all this other, we just want to play.
Right.
So that's kind of where I think it's kind of both ways for a coach like him. Like, I don't know that I say that if it was Nick Saban saying that. I would not feel like that came from his kids. I feel like that is strictly him. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if do you even know who they are?
Right.
A lot of assumptions, not in his locker room, but just don't get that feel from him that he that dude. Like,
Right. Yeah, neither do I, because
just don't, like, literally, people by their numbers. 10, what are you doing? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a whole that's a whole nother conversation, boy, about these coaches, some of these coaches. But to your point, I won't even veer into that. To your point, though, you can see that Dabo Swinney does have a heart for his kids.
Yeah, he does.
But it's like I think he needs a publicist.
Probably so. The way it comes off.
PR just isn't one of his strong suits.
Because he's just gonna be brutally honest and speak from. Well, it's kind of like Cheeto. Like, just speak. You speak from your heart. Even though it's not detrimental the way it is when it comes from him.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, Lord, please don't compare
No. It's not detrimental. It is just the heart behind it is good. It's just, it might not be necessary to speak everything you feel. Sometimes you need to either not say something or carefully craft the way that you say it to ensure that what you're trying to convey comes across.
Yeah.
But when you just speaking from your heart, sometimes it doesn't come
don't
off
come
the
out
way
right.
the way you thought it would.
Right.
So I think that is what Dabo Swinney is guilty of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
All right. So
tell
y'all
us
let
who
us
you
know.
think is really right.
Yeah.
Stephanie thinks that there shouldn't be an asterisk by the champion, whoever's crowned. I think there should be, but I think we both agree that there shouldn't be a national championship.
No.
Yeah. But they do need to play for something. So I'll
Something.
concede there that there needs to be something played for.
Something. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
all right.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Let's talk about
yeah.
third cousins now, because with this comment, he ain't first cousin.
Third cousin.
So Kirk Cousins really wants to play football.
As do most of them.
Yeah. No, but he really wants to play.
Clearly.
So he comes out the other day and he said, in response to the risk of COVID, if I die, I die.
So I'm going to let me read the entire thing.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. If I get it, I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to let nature do its course. Survival of the fittest kind of an approach. Then he goes on to say, and just to say, if it knocks me out, it knocks me out. I'm going to be okay. Even if I die. If I die, I die. I kind of have peace about it. Yeah. So, yeah.
Sorry for the dead air.
No, sorry. Yeah, we was in a place. Yeah, that was. So he's had to just so you know, he's had to come back and try to, because he got so much flack from that.
Of course.
That it was but he cites his Christian faith.
Of course.
As his reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was a personal statement, not something that he thought applied to everybody, just where he is and how he feels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Third cousin.
Third cousins.
Yeah.
This is precisely why I needed you out of DC. Even if you feel this, you don't say this. And it's probably it's not socially responsible, because it's not just about you. It doesn't matter that, well, this is what I feel and it doesn't reflect the opinions of others.
No.
What I feel like others should do. No. You get paid at this point $25 to $30 million a year. Yeah. You get paid that much because you have influence.
Yeah.
And you can play football. You have a crowd of people who follow you.
You have a platform, sir.
Yes.
Whether you want it or not, you have it.
You got it. You got it. So going out and making a statement like, if I get it, I get it, informs those people who follow you, some who are going to follow your every word, that even if you wanted to come across a certain way, it still gives the impression that I'm not really taking this thing that serious.
I got a bigger problem with the whole survival of the fittest comment. Yeah. Because not quite sure if you've really been understanding, reading, paying attention to what is happening across the country and the world, but I do not believe that, just using the United States, I don't even know, because I try not to look what the number is at this point, but I'm sure it's at 200 or close or well over of people who have passed away from this horrible virus. All of those people were not sick and old. So some of them even athletes.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be an athlete to be fit. So I got a problem with you even, like, it's almost arrogance
Right.
To say that, like, survival of the fittest, like, what are you
Mm-hmm.
talking about? That is not what this is about. This virus has no rhyme, reason. It don't care how old you are,
Mm-hmm.
what your health issues are. You might be
Right.
more susceptible because you're older or because you have health issues.
Right.
However, it does
It ain't
not,
only
there's
taking
no
out.
rhyme or reason.
Right.
It's so, for you to come out and make this statement is socially irresponsible. And I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
just say it. You too darn old. Kirk Cousins is 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You're too
You should know
old
better.
not to know better, sir. Sorry.
Especially when the majority of the players on your team are Black and brown people, and we know that it's disproportionately affecting Black and brown people. So,
but it's the
to
survival of the
say
fittest.
survival of the
So,
fittest
okay. Don't even
has
go there. We
some
ain't going
severe
there.
implications
Jared,
that
don't go there.
you probably didn't think of before. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. You probably didn't think of that before you said what you said. But
That's just, if I'm a teammate, we having a conversation, bro. What are you
yeah,
trying to say?
right.
Because,
Clarify yourself, please.
yes, please. Because,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, that was pretty bad. It was irresponsible, reckless. It's almost like when Drew Brees said what he said back a couple of months ago. Like, shut up.
Tone deaf.
If you don't have anything good to say, or you, like, again, like we just said about Dabo, like, if you can't just curtail and think before you speak of the ramifications of what you're about to say, then you should probably just be quiet.
Right. Yeah.
Just be quiet.
Yeah.
Y'all know how many times we have to think before we speak on this podcast? Because
that's why
stuff that we
you might
could
hear
probably
us delve
say.
into something and we kind of pull back the reins on it. Like, okay, I can't say that right
we
now.
can't talk about that because it wouldn't come out right. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, no, I'm not feeling that at all. Boo, third cousin.
A lot of what we say wouldn't come out the right way, especially when talking about your president.
You must be talking to the pillars behind me. I'm gonna do one of these moves. You must be talking.
Shot right past you, huh?
Yep. Your president pillow. Yeah.
So why your president can't mind his business?
First of all, I will not receive that. He is not my president.
My president is Black.
Just saying. I will not receive that. But let me just say, he is grasping for straws for any way to get in the good graces of people. And he knows that there is a huge number of people who have the same sort of mentality that he has when it comes to athletes, because we've seen clearly his take on it when we were talking about the kneeling and the national anthem, and how he felt about these players. Get that SOB off the field. So his whole, again, you are just entertainment and a commodity. And so he knows there's a very large number of people who share that opinion. Right. Even if they don't really recognize that's the opinion they have, that is what they have, because that's what you're not concerned about the kids and their well-being or their mindset. We're not just talking about COVID. We're talking about social unrest, everything that's going on. They're seeing another Black man being shot or killed every day. So none of that is what is of concern to this particular group of people. They just want to see football because they want to see football. And so he has stuck his nose in here with the Big Ten to try for political gain, in my opinion.
Definitely.
In my opinion. Because
he knows
you can't be caring about one conference so much that
right.
And it's we won't miss the demographic and the where the Big Ten lies.
Big Ten country, yeah.
So I don't
even want to talk about him.
Okay. I ain't got no problem with that. I just was
don't
really
like.
upset when I saw that.
I'm just tired of like. I'm tired.
Tired, not tired.
I'm
Tired.
Like every day is something new with him, man. It's just like,
Listen, that article I sent you yesterday.
Oh my God, that was so on point.
Listen, I'm gonna read it every day. I ain't never
Yes.
telling you no lie. I'm gonna read it every day.
He hit that thing. He hit that nail on the head.
And so eloquently. I just loved it. It wasn't a bashing. It was so eloquently put.
Yeah.
I just loved it. So
and
anyway,
it was
y'all don't know
infused
what
with a
we're
little bit of
talking about,
comedy.
so yeah.
Like,
yes, it was hilarious. But yeah, yeah. Get out of just listen.
Just go.
I'm a proponent of people staying in their lane.
Mm-hmm.
Just like he had no business even commenting on what was happening with the NFL.
Right.
You just didn't. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
That's no different than any other organization or company. That is their business. You don't stand up on the podium as the president and talk about Amazon. You don't stand up on the podium and talk about you don't, because that's not what you do. That's not what you should be concerned with. And especially not now.
Especially when your response to COVID has been what it's been.
And then you sending troops out to places where people protest or where
waging war against your own citizens. He got to go. He got to go.
So
I'm gonna be quiet because
this is not a political show, and we don't want. We can have our opinion, and people are clear; they know where we stand. Why wouldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
We're both black, so we just, and it doesn't mean all black people are anti-Trump. Right. However, a majority of us understand and get and have a true sense of his detriment to us. And so, and his lack of empathy, well, he don't have empathy for anybody, but he truly has no clue about us, no desire to know, no desire to care. So it just really, so that is our opinion. Not to be, this is not an influence on anybody else and where they are. You believe what you believe. You know what I mean? I'm a real proponent of that. That's the freedom that we have in this country. If that's who you like, that's who you like.
Right.
That's just our personal opinion. We like our girls, Jamel and
Carrie Champion.
Carrie Champion. You know what I'm saying? That's just how we feel.
Right.
Period.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
So no, he don't get no more airtime today. Okay.
All right, mental health moment.
Yeah, so y'all know so much is going on. We just got through talking about some of the things that are affecting us as a country and individually. If I'm transparent, Jarrett and I had our production meeting, and in the middle, and when we were talking, and I'm telling him, I can't even talk about like half of the stuff that happens on a daily basis or that we know has happened. I have run out of room and capacity to put anything else in. You know what I mean? Right. 2020 has been rough.
Yeah.
And it's been rough for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And so, opposed to us talking about a person today, we wanted to kind of take a moment. So most of you know, I'm a certified life coach, and I work as a life coach. That's my career. And so in doing so, I talk to people a lot who are dealing, not just because of COVID, but, other things that are happening in the social unrest, all of that kind of stuff. And it affects people. People are having a hard time. And honestly, I'm not diagnosing anybody, but I feel like most of us at this point are experiencing some form of PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right.
Because it's true. It is true. We are stressed out. Anxiety is high. And so I just thought today, instead of us talking about it from the standpoint of an individual, I would just share some tips, some coping strategies with you all that I share with patients, as our clients, as I talk to them. So one of them is deep breathing. just when you're feeling yourself getting overly worked up or anxious, take a moment. Just breathe. I even recommend to people meditation. I don't know how, if you don't, some people don't believe in it, or they say my mind is going too much. There are ways to help yourself, but deep breathing in oxygen helps your body, and it slows your heart rate. It just helps your body. So incorporating that as a part of what you do can help you a lot. So deep breathing is one. Progressive muscle relaxation. And so what this is I do this with my grief support group. Before we start when we were meeting in person, before we would start every week, we would do this. And so it's literally like you start at your, like, let's just say your shoulders, and you tense them up. You tense your shoulders, and then you relax. And then you might go to I'm gonna just skip. So now I'm in my thighs. I tense my thighs, and then I relax them. I tense my calves, and I relax them. So just going progressively down your body and just giving yourself like that tense up, because when you tense up, it alerts your body. And then when you relax, it gives your body okay, we're good. Yeah. So it seems simple, but it's something that really works.
No, I with that one in particular, I'd never heard of it, but I do know that some people walk around tense and they don't know that they're tense.
Me all the time. I stay like this. And I have to make myself just kind of
it's being conscious of it. Being conscious of it.
Absolutely. Another one is mindfulness. And so with mindfulness, we're talking about like getting in touch with yourself, spending time. This is where meditation can be really good too. Just getting in touch with and being aware of your present moment. This is my favorite thing to say, and I don't know if it's something somebody else put out there, or it's just something I came up with myself. But how does it go? Today is a gift from God. That's why it's called the present, and you need to live in it.
I like it.
And so being aware, understanding where you are, it's about, not being so stuck in your head about what's going on, but just giving yourself what's going on. Because what I tell people all the time is, when you think of the past, that's where depression lives. And when you stay stuck in the past, that's where depression lives. When you so worried about the future, that's where anxiety lives. Yeah. So staying in the present is such an important thing. So that is another one. Obviously, being self-aware, self-monitoring yourself is important. So being very honest with yourself about where you are and how you feel. Having people in your life that can support you when you're feeling a certain way is equally as important. So having that support system. Self-care. Listen, I don't care what you love to do it at least once a week for yourself. Or things that you know are necessary. Self-care for me, Self-Care Sunday is a mandatory thing in my life. I do everything I need to do. I steam my face. I whatever I need to do. Like last Sunday, I made myself the best chai latte ever, and I sat and I read, and so good. And so just that kind of thing. Whatever pleases and gets you to your good space, do it. Whatever that means. Expressive writing is another one. Everybody doesn't like to write, but I feel like journaling is something that is so critical for people. Having a space and a place, because even when you have a support system, you have people to talk to, you might not always want to share everything with them. And so having that place where you can just get it all out sometimes is so important. So journaling is something else that I feel like is really important. So it's a whole bunch of them. The last one I'm gonna talk about is behavioral activation. And so what this is how you increase your activity level.
Okay.
So finding ways to get out and do positive things, rewarding activities. It doesn't mean exercise for everybody. It could be anything, go have a picnic at the park, that kind of thing. Whatever that looks like, So those are just a few. There are many more, but I just
Yeah.
I thought that's what we would do with mental health moment.
No, I think that's important too, especially like because not everyone has access to this information.
Yeah.
And when I say access, like, I mean, obviously you could look it up or whatever,
Yeah.
but you know, the people who you listen to or trust, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
receiving this information from them
Yeah.
may be more accessible than you thinking to yourself to go out and find this information on your own. So I hope you guys truly appreciate this info that Stephanie gave us. I know I'm gonna use some of it. I already do like the deep breathing, and I have to be more conscious of. I just mixed that up twice.
That's okay.
I got to be more conscious about meditating.
Yeah.
Because when I do it, like, I feel amazing.
Yeah.
But like sometimes the hustle and bustle of going here and there, like, you don't actually take the time to like do it. So
yeah, no, that's something I tell people, like, you're important, and so if you can receive that you're important, then you're going to make time.
Yeah.
And so even if it's a 10-minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, some short, but just giving yourself that opportunity. And with breathing, so two quick things. With breathing, try I think it's the 4-6-7 method, where you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 5, and then you let out for 7.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And 2, with meditation, a way that you can slow your brain down when you're meditating is to think about your breathing. So literally tell yourself, I'm breathing in, breathe out, breathe in.
Yeah.
And you can't think about multiple
Nothing
things
else,
at a time.
right.
So
Yeah.
if you just think about your breathing, it will help you to calm your mind.
Right.
That's it. Sorry,
Yeah.
you know, I can go all day with this. This is my world right here. Yeah.
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 Well, all right. Feel good final thought. So, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for Utah fans, the Denver Nuggets defeated the Utah Jazz the other night in Game 7 of the playoffs. Because I said Utah, and I was like, wait, no, it was Utah that lost.
Yes.
It was Denver that won. Excuse me.
Yes.
Utah was eliminated from the playoffs in Game 7 the other day.
Yeah.
But Donovan Mitchell and some of the other NBA players we've seen.
What's the kid that you told me his name from Denver?
Jamal Murray.
Yes. Every time I think about it, I just want to cry. But okay, go ahead.
Like, well, you told me about that part. Share that part with us, like just the raw emotion from Jamal Murray.
So I think it was Game 6. And it was the post game, and he was being interviewed, and his reaction, he's you can tell he's really attempting to listen to what's being asked of him, but the raw emotion he was feeling at the moment was so powerful that he literally it was like he was having a panic attack, because the reporter had to stop asking questions and just say, it's okay, breathe.
Yeah.
It was, and he just kept saying the same thing over and over again. He said we had to win. But he was like, but this ain't even about that. And so they panned down to his shoes. He had a picture of George Floyd on one and Breonna Taylor on the other. And he said, I did this for them. He said, they're my motivation. It was so powerful to witness that young man in the way that he was responding and reacting, and his raw emotion that was being so evidently shown. We knew it was beyond basketball. He kept saying we had to win, but we knew that wasn't what it was about. Like, it was just powerful. If you can find the clip, people go watch it, because it was powerful. And then to turn around in Game 7 and have Donovan Mitchell at his post-game conference sharing his raw emotion and just almost in tears as he was talking about this, and just like, now the young man has even gone a step further. I don't know if you saw this. He's paying for Jacob Blake's kids' college. He's put a college fund together for them.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he just did that yesterday. And so just so y'all know our parameters for Feel Good Final Thought are either it makes us smile or laugh, or we have eyeball sweat. And I don't know if you all know how hard it is for me right now not to have eyeball sweat.
Mm-hmm.
Because watching them, they're young. They should be enjoying themselves.
Right.
Having so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
It broke me. It broke me. Yeah.
What you're not about to do is have me crying on this podcast.
I'm sorry.
And it's just rough, man, when you look at these stories and you see another one, you know, like, and this one hit closer to home. They all hit.
They all do. Yeah.
They all hit, you know.
Yeah.
But a kid in Southeast DC was shot by the police.
Jesus.
And they had video. He said that the kid pulled a gun on him, but they had video of the kid throwing the gun away while he was running.
Wow.
And they used the fact that he had the gun to justify killing him.
Yeah.
Like, you look at these NBA players, and I believe it was Montrezl Harrell, who I saw last night, who had how many more on the back of.
That's one of the sayings.
Yeah. And that's a real question. How many more? Because we keep seeing it and we keep seeing it. And it's like, forget about us as Black people. Other cultures and other communities who aren't outraged, because there's some that are. Why y'all not outraged by this? Like, and, you know, I try to stay away from the comments because, you know, I see people saying stuff like, well, he had a gun, what you expect, or...
Yeah, justifying what's happening.
We have a whole justice system.
The other day. Jared, I had to turn the TV the other day from Court TV because they were discussing the George Floyd case. And they were literally, the defense is literally trying to make this about this man's record.
Mm-hmm.
And this man that was being interviewed kept saying he was a bad person. What? And the Black woman that was on there, he kept trying to just talk over it. And she was like, no, I'm not going to let you just talk over. Why do you just keep talking about him being a bad person? That isn't relevant. What he did doesn't make him a bad person. And so you can't keep putting this out on public, like in the public, that he's a bad person. So this is, yeah. So it's just justification. That's all. Trying to make it, and even some of us are justifying it just to try. I honestly think it's more of a survival thing. You know what I mean? Like, well, I wouldn't be out with a gun, or you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so I'm safe because I wouldn't be doing something that wasn't blah, blah, blah. But then you got to think of a person like a Sandra Bland or Breonna Taylor who weren't doing anything, but they're still dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show picks.
Yeah.
Show picks. What you watching?
So I just finished the 2 seasons that they had on Netflix of Cobra Kai, which is a spinoff, if you will, I guess. I don't know if that's what you call it, but anyway, it's a show adaptation of the original Karate Kid movies, where there was Danielson, Mr. Miyagi, and the kid he kicked in the face, basically,
Yeah.
to win the championship in the first one. And so the show kind of picks up now in present day. Mr. Miyagi, of course, Pat Morita passed away in 2005, I think. So, Miss Miyagi's dead and Daniel is successful. And, there's the kid he kicked in the face. So this is basically because that was the dojo that the kid that he beat was the Cobra Kai. And so it's more about that relationship and what happens with him in his dojo now. So it's pretty good. I was like, okay, y'all did that. It was pretty good. And then
it's funny when I first like saw it, I thought it was like a commercial, like kind of like a parody, like not really a real thing. But then I found out like it was actually a show. I was like, oh wow.
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And the one I added, Bookmarks, so celebrating Black voices. I saw this yesterday. Started watching.
What is that on?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Amazing. It is African American celebrities like Tiffany Haddish, Common, Jill Scott, Misty Copeland, just a myriad of people who are reading stories written by, I believe, and about people of color.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
It's amazing. I was like, yes, y'all do this. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It is. And I hope that people really sit their kids down. Right. And I mean, I know it seems childish because a lot of the books they look like little kid books, but still listening to the stories that are I'm not giving a plug, I'm sorry, but my auntie wrote an amazing book about a young African boy who plays drums. It's along those same lines because it's to encourage and empower. And so I feel like regardless of the level of the book, the message is necessary.
Right. I'm had to pick up Auntie's book.
Auntie done wrote 3 books, honey.
Oh, excuse me, Auntie.
Or maybe more than that. I don't know, but yeah, I know of 3 at least.
Auntie, you have to teach me some stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So mine is actually a play adaptation I haven't even seen yet. But so many people talk about this thing that by the time that the YouTube viewership, by the time you see this, I will have watched it. But
today,
those of you who are listening,
it's Friday, remember?
Yeah, this evening, right? But I'm saying that the YouTube they not gonna hit us to next week.
Okay. Yeah.
But those of you who are listening, I haven't seen it yet. But based off of what everyone says about it and just the amount of acclaim that it's gotten, Hamilton. I have to
that's on my bucket list for Broadway though. Like that was a Broadway.
You want to go see? You want to go see it? Yeah, no, I knew it was on Broadway first, but it was adapted into this musical. So Lin-Manuel Miranda, did I say his name right?
I don't know.
I think that's it.
Okay,
is the creator of it. And how much I love history.
Yes.
So I really want to see. I want to see like the story of this conflict between Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr.
Yeah.
And how it played out. And I mean, we know the outcome, but I just want to know the story leading up to that.
Right.
And more about Alexander Hamilton, the man.
Right.
But yeah, we are at the end of episode 76.
Yeah.
We are counting down to 100.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's going to go by fast. Quick? Yeah, absolutely.
Prayers out to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and his family.
Yes.
Just a side note that 2 4-year-old mama, daddy, it's a lot.
That is a lot. So yeah, prayers to he and his family.
Yeah.
Lord, yeah, that.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
But as always, we really, really, really appreciate you guys listening. You can hit us up on Twitter at Field the real P1, on Instagram at Field the Real Podcast. You can shoot us an email. at Field to the Real Podcast at gmail.com, the number 2. And where else can they? Oh, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Field to the
Share.
Real Podcast. Huh?
Share.
Yes, share, like,
Share.
subscribe, all that good jazz.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But
go check out our pep talks on Instagram.
On Instagram, yes. So the series of pep talk, we are at episode 2 of the pep talk. Stephanie does a terrific job with this. If you missed them on YouTube, and I don't know if they, with IGTV, if they go away, they are on YouTube as well. So go like, share, subscribe, give us some feedback. We truly appreciate it.
Yes.
I am coming with a series called The Post Game, and let's just say pretty soon. I'm looking at my first one coming out next Thursday, but pretty soon. It'll be Thursday. It'll be Thursday. I just need to sit down and record it. But like I said, we love you guys. Peace.
Peace.
Now put the cameras on me, 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 put the cameras on me.